And we're live in the 605 with another Lunchbox podcast.
Your break time entertainment.
Not the same without Amber.
Yeah, well, your break time entertainment.
Yeah, break time entertainment. It's like that guy.
It's
Yeah.
like, ha-ba-da-ha-ba-ba-ba-da.
We haven't gone duo like this in a long time.
Since the originals.
Yeah, the OGs. Yep, we've always had.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, the podcast only had audio and no video.
Went on a little hiatus though. Little break.
Yeah, a little time out. We had a little, probably like a month almost, right?
Yeah, it's crazy though. And we talked about this too when we started back in the winter. Life happens. You know, you get busy and everybody has their things. You go camping, you do your trips. You know, you went to,
home, California,
West Coast,
Mexico.
Yeah, Amber's gone. East Coast.
Amber's gone. NC. Yep.
I guess I'll have to go to Alaska or something just to get the triangle, but
Yeah, it's South America. Like way south.
South Triangle.
Brazil.
But no, we had plenty of time to think of a topic. And obviously we came up with this right before we hit record.
Per usual.
So in a roundabout way, we're talking today about the is what it is, but at the same time, we've been around the world a little bit, lived a life. We're both in our 30s, upper 30s.
Yep. Upper 30s, almost 40s, yeah.
Keeping that banner.
I'm old.
No, but there's a lot of things that we were taught that kind of made us who we are today. And I think that's one thing when we start dealing with the youth of today. I can't keep track of the Gen Z, Gen X, Millennial, Gen. Is there a Y now? Is there?
I don't even. Why? Because I gotta.
Yeah. All the different ones.
PARTY.
I just don't. I don't know if I missed something. But anyways, we could just dive right in, and I guess I'll give the first thing I thought of when we talked about this was my first job was picking rocks.
Same.
And because we weren't old enough to get like a real paycheck, right?
Yeah. Cash on the table.
Farmers would write us a written check.
Cheap labor. Yep. Cheap labor.
Would have been the 90s.
$5 to $7 an hour. Yeah.
Oh, you got 7?
Yeah. One of the best ones I got was 12. That was like towards the end of my career of the old rock picker. Yeah.
We started at 10. We actually got caught in a storm one time. I was actually just talking about it to my buddy, and it was his dad. But yeah, the temperature dropped like 20 degrees like that. And we looked around, and there's a funnel cloud like 8 miles away. It was ways away.
Twister.
And he just dropped it in road gear and cruised across the field to get out of there. And but that was that was a job. Now I think it's done differently now.
I don't know. Honestly, I'd have to call Trent and see.
He told me, I don't remember. There's they take side-by-sides now.
Sonars.
No, they just hop on side-by-sides and they go around and do it now rather than hayracks and
Dude, the one I went on, so let me tell you about my VIP experience towards the end. So this guy had his big long wooden trailer, and then it had like an X for the subframe. Yep.
Yeah.
Subframe. And then it came out where it like had arms out the side, and then he welded on seats for us. And the seats were like boat chairs, so they were comfy, cushy, and then had a little thing that dangled on the bottom so you could like put your feet on. There was a hook on the back for your own water bottle, like a jug. And then he had a thing on top where he had like a radio, so we had music. And then he even had an umbrella post, so it had an umbrella for us. That was like $12 an hour for this. Sign me up. Yeah, it was great.
But I mean, that was in the 90s.
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably get paid roughly the same nowadays. I don't know if they get more or less or.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, even that, like for me with a kid, or just being a kid, I was way too small to like throw bales. So like when I was like 10, 12, 13, I would drive tractor. And then the big guys would be in back and I would just drive the whole time. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was I feel like that's like one of those jobs though that like our generation did that, as guys. Yeah. Like that was the exposure. But what was your first paying job? Like legal, had to pay taxes?
I worked at Pioneer Hybrid, which was just seasonal help, like a seed feed company. Yeah,
like
Pioneer.
Hefty or whatever it's all there now.
Like what?
Are you familiar with Hefty Seed?
No.
No.
No. Travis Miller said his first job was Burger King.
Yeah, we
How
didn't
good
have
did
one
you
of those.
smell going home?
We didn't have one of those.
Same.
It was either a gas station, grocery store, or the Pizza Ranch is all we had.
Nice. Yeah, we didn't even have that.
So I had the Pizza Ranch. That was my job. $5.15 an hour was my first starting wage.
Yeah, I think mine was $7.85 or something like that.
At a seed company?
Yeah, doing seasonal, and then this next year, second year I came back. Then I was a forklift driver, and then like a seasonal type manager type thing, like oversaw.
See, like when I got older and like in summer of like colleges and stuff like that. Actually, when I met you, I did road construction in Watertown, and we would get paid like $30 an hour to run the sweepers and skid loaders. And I remember the stop slow sign. It was a state job in Worthington, Minnesota, and so they're all speaking Spanish. I didn't understand it, but stop is stop and slow is slow, and didn't matter. But I remember getting paid like $22.50 an hour to do that.
Shit. Fuck yeah.
Hold that sign. That was in 2004.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, no, it's just crazy though to think of the things that we were taught, you know, those types of jobs and working in not the most ideal. I mean, now there's a lot of ideal situations that kids can work in, and it's just very, I don't want to say coddling, but to an extent, coddling.
How about all the kids that are fucking day trading and crypto buying and all that shit?
Even YouTube people, like the influencers of the world.
Yeah, shit.
I feel like there was enough entertaining things that we did when we were, maybe at least for me, anyways. That I mean, it would have been a pretty sick YouTube channel.
Yeah, no shit, right?
But
if we just could have got it a little early, go back in time.
Those Nokia phones didn't have the pixel quality that we needed to document such. I had an AudioVox flip phone too that had a decent camera. I think it was 2.2 megapixels, and it was the bee's knees. But
there's this TikTok page that I follow, or group or whatever page, that it does like a current and old. So it does like the 14 gen iPhone, and then it records it with like a Series 4 of like the exact same thing. So it's like on an airplane, and then they show, and it's like side by side. So they do it on different things too. It's pretty fun.
That'd be cool.
But
labor jobs for kids are a thing of the past. It's definitely true. I mean, that's kind of the point of this, really. We're just more or less circling around to where
we'll get there.
Just kind of how people. I mean, it's easy.
They just don't want to do it. Yeah.
And
well, that with the labor shortage too, you have kids that
there's no shortage,
like,
dude.
What are you gonna do? Fire me? You know? And then it's not a shortage. It's just hard. I think there's a shortage.
No, there's not.
There's a lot of jobs where people, like kids and stuff, don't want to work.
Yeah, they don't want to work, but the thing is truthfully, and this is just my opinion being in, QSR world, or, even fast food. I mean, fast food, QSR, quick service restaurant, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we start people at $15 an hour. I've started people at 16, 17, 18, 22, 24. I mean, people running restaurants getting paid north of 60. It's surreal, but the thing is that there is a fine line of, if you pay somebody $17 an hour and you talk to them like they're getting paid $17 an hour, and you expect and set that expectation, they'll do it. I don't feel like I've really had too much like pushback with it, but I've had a lot of people start working for us that, they get paid 12 or 13 somewhere else, and then they come here and they're like, oh, I actually got to work. And it's like, well, you're getting paid more. So that's part of it. And some people aren't made out for it, but it's changed so much. But like you said, I always get tough because the word shortage is like, there's nobody out there. I mean, I think of the car wash places, like Silver Star, not to plug them, but how much do they get paid to sit there and spray off a car? I don't know. 12, 15? I doubt 15. But regardless, it's like, you have a choice of where you want to work, but I think a lot of it just no different than even where you're at. It's people.
How much do you want to get paid versus how much you want to work?
Yeah, but it's people though, that's a big thing too. Is like, would you do the same job? Here's a question for you. This is perfect. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put you on the spot. You're gonna look at me and be like, don't fucking do this to me. But I'm gonna clip it.
Clip it.
Xbox, clip it.
Love my job.
But would you do Like you think of, you saw that video I sent you, right, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody said that was like when things were. Get it
Is
out.
your dog gonna die?
He's just coughing up. Hairball. It's like the secret life of pets. But anyways, they said that, somebody told me, it was like, yeah, that's when it was fun. Like that's when the fun was there. Everybody, like, you couldn't stop
The
the amount of
camaraderie.
energy that we had, right?
Yeah.
So you go back to like when I started, right? When I was the
Mhm.
new guy. And when things were like that and people were doing weird stuff like that video, would you take a pay cut to go back to that today?
Yeah. hmm
20 grand?
Probably 30, honestly.
No
Yeah.
shit.
No shit. Yeah.
So you're one of those people, and there's nothing wrong with it. You're one of those people that your numbers, you get it, right? Everybody has a number of what they need to make to,
In my
I don't
brain.
want to say
Yeah.
survive,
To
but
make it worth it. Well, to make it worth it.
yeah, but to understand where the line is, right? So if I told you that you could go work at, maybe not you, but let's say your kids. Let's say your kids were old enough, right? And you're the parent. Let's say your kids aren't, let's say they're teenagers actually.
Mhm.
And they were to get a job, and I said, hey, I can pay you $16 an hour to work at Dairy Queen, but you're going to work 5 to 11 during the summer, or you'll work 11 to 4, right? But you're going to work. You're going to clean. You're going to go through stuff, checklist that we have to do to make sure food safety. And there's going to be just expectations and guidelines that you have to go through on a daily to get done. Or you can go to Scooter's Coffee and get paid $13. I don't know what they get paid. $13 an
less.
hour. Let's say they get paid
Push.
less. And they just get to sit there and socialize a little bit.
Mhm.
What would you do?
I would socialize.
Really?
Yeah.
You would have your kids socialize more.
No, I think if I would try to make my kid work to learn,
Yeah.
of what's expected in real life. Yeah.
So it's funny you say that. So this whole thing circles back to kind of what he was saying, with the whole fast food thing and, what it is now. That's the number one thing I tell people and their parents. Like their parents will pick them up from work. And I'll tell them is like, this is probably your first job, maybe your second. But regardless, you're a kid. You're not going to work here the rest of your life. Just take away one thing and then carry on with your life. And a lot of parents, surprisingly, they're like, why do you say that? And I was just like, because it's true. Like no teenager is going to work in
that's true.
fast food. We did,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
you go through that and it's like, all right, what did I learn? I learned how to talk to people. I learned, it's not always going to be easy. Even then kids are not working late at work, not all. See, I think the other things too is as positions that, we're in, as somebody that's been in a dealership, obviously you don't oversee porters or whatever, guest services, you don't oversee. But even for myself, it's one of those things like as leaders, I think it's one of those things that we have to, and you can agree or disagree, just let me know, but we have to be able to set that precedent also saying is like, it's not all of them that don't want to work. So
Yeah, no,
quit,
there's
like,
it
there's no
depends
reason
on.
to continue to like subjectively put all of them in that category.
I think a lot of that comes down to management tactics.
Yeah.
Like when you hire someone, you level set right away. Like this is what it is. If you don't like it, then leave.
Yep.
And like we don't have that, at least at Schulte.
Oh.
Yeah. No, we just don't. Like there's I love my job. Like there's just not a lot of follow up. It's people get like second chances and third chances and fourth chances, and it's like how many times do you have to throw them a fucking bone before you cut bait? I saw this Gary V thing one time that said that one of his big things that he wished he could turn back time and do is that he would fire quickly, because he
Mhm.
said a lot of people hire these people and their ego gets in the way where they don't want to look stupid that they hired someone then fired someone right away. So
Yep.
they want to try to like, oh, they'll make it better and well, we can do this together. And it's just nope, cut bait, move on. And that's the stuff where I don't think a lot of businesses have.
Well, the other things too is they think of, obviously to train somebody, put them in that position and get them to a level 2 is always tough. But I think there's a lot of like antics, right, that your peers will do that you're like, you just like, how does that come out of your face? Like, how is that possible? And then, I don't know. It's just sometimes when you're in a certain place like you have been, it's just one of those things you kind of just know the method to the madness, like, how to, how to get around certain scenarios, how to react to certain things that may or may not do you any good, right?
Yeah, control
But
your controllables.
exactly.
Yeah,
But I think that's one thing that when we look at the workforce is that our peers will always do things that you're like you just don't agree with. But at the end of the day, like you said, control what you can control. But I always say let other people make their own bed with it. You know, it's kind of like that's the perception of them, and I know what
yeah,
I
you've
can
told me
do.
that numerous times.
Yeah, but work is way more fun and tolerating when it's not just work, 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 work. What's fun mixed in with it. That's why I love where I work. The HR department. Yeah, HR departments I don't trust. None of them. I don't care how old they are. HR is not your friend. I've seen videos on it too, and I agree. Um, yeah, you can't really joke around too much with them, but some say you can, some think you can, but their job is to protect the company, and they'll do everything they can to make sure there's no lawsuits because that's how
Yeah.
they get paid.
Yep.
But no, I agree. It's always a people thing. I mean, that's why people stay.
Yep.
Obviously, no different than me just asking you, like, would you stay for X amount of dollars if
Yep.
everybody came back? Honestly, I think everybody would to an extent, but regardless, I just feel that um, everybody gets to a point though. I don't know, not always the
Could you
grass is
imagine?
greener.
Could you imagine going back to A team? Like I'm saying, like for all the people that we have now and who we've had in the past, if we could like hand pick like our team of 12, like how freaking awesome like
Yeah, it'd be
work could
too
be.
much.
And even like we'd have to rotate managers and stuff too, a couple. Um, but yeah, it'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, no, it would
Yeah,
be.
the glory days.
Well, it's just the thing is like the company's evolved, not just there but anywhere. Like things evolve.
Yeah,
I've taken for instance,
no, we've seen
guy
that.
that
We
guy
know
that
that.
Travis and I used to work for too. I mean, the things evolve and they just get to a point where like they just want to sell or they want to, you know, not go stale. They want to grow. Whatever it takes, even if it's at the expense of people. But I think that's the hard part is that sometimes it comes at the expense of people. And I go back and she just called me actually yesterday. But it's a prime example, and I've told you this, and it's I think you met her actually when I sold her the car, but she told me that one day you will love a company, but the company will never love you. It's one of the most resonating quotes I think I'll ever hear
Yep.
in terms of employment. And that's where you can't get bought into that, but it's the people is what keeps you there. I mean, a lot of it
No,
is.
it's like those things where they say, you give your blood, sweat, and tears to a company that will replace you in 15 minutes once you're gone.
Oh yeah,
You know?
no, and the goals of what you're trying to do with it, but sell it to them. Investors bigger for your commissions cut. It was great. Yeah, no, it was a rough year. Travis 2014, I think it was 2015. But ultimately, the thing is that like you said, it's the camaraderie and the people that really kind of make it who it is. But then when you start bringing in those people that I don't want to say are freeloaders, but they just find a way to cheat the system and think that
Yeah,
they're
just
the smartest
sneak
person in
by.
the room.
Oh, I
And
know.
it's tough to look at it and really think that it's not, I don't want to say not fair, but you know, they get away with it, and like you said, management continues to do that. One of the best things that I ever learned was, South Dakota is a right to work state for anybody wondering. And the situation is I've told you about it. You have a sheet of paper, and one side says I sign here, and I'm saying I got fired. I sign here. I say I voluntarily quit. Either way, I'm not coming to work tomorrow. It's one of the greatest ways to get rid of somebody, because they're signing off saying I got fired, or they're signing off saying
I
I
quit.
quit. So that's one way to do it. Um, if you were in charge, Ryan, I'll put you on the spot again. If you were in charge and you had an employee that found ways to skip work, or I don't want to say skip, but elude, right? Maybe just
Yep.
avoid a little bit, and get out of things. Maybe they go to the car wash, like 10 minutes
Yep.
before close,
Yeah. Who
all the
doesn't?
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. But how do you think would be
It's a job requirement.
but
Yeah.
the, but the handling of discipline and stuff like that of even adults like our age and stuff like that, or even, the younger ones? I know that's always a thing that you're starting to get this blend, right? Of people like
Yep.
us, where we grew up that You committed yourself to earn the respect, right? And our peer Jeremy always talked about earned and given respect, right?
Yep.
The title, you get it. You earn it by being in the trench. And how would you handle an employee that, if you were the manager, if you were the
Yep.
boss, what
Same
would you
page.
what would you do?
So,
This is an interview. Let's take a job interview.
no. Well, let me tell you what I do, son. Let me tell you what I have done. Right. So,
At Riddles?
yeah, I had employees that were just late, like numerous times. All the excuses, like my kid drank a bunch of NyQuil, like this. Oh, I had a relative that's sick, and and then oh, I forgot to set my alarm, and then it finally got to the point where I wrote it up. I said you get 3, So she used up her 2, and then on the third one, she was a no call no show. And then finally got a hold of her because she had to sign paperwork and turn paper and leave. And she said I didn't even want to bother because it was my third one. I knew that you were seriously gonna like let me go. So she knew like you make your bed, And I asked her what happened, and that's when she said like the NyQuil, blah 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 blah. And I was like, well, that's like a if it was a legit reason, like not a made up one, but or if you had like a really bad sunburn, you know, and you couldn't work. Yeah, we've had a kid at that and then had a heart attack, right? So it's just they fire themselves. They realize that it's just holding them accountable for their actions.
Yeah.
We don't do that, and I have no idea why. It's like you don't do that, no, and then nothing happens, and you see other kids get away with it or other things do. And it's never equal. It just is really
So
frustrating.
so let me ask you this, and just for my own, I'm just curious about your perception, being the consumer connoisseur that you are.
Yeah,
If you walk into a restaurant, right? So
yep,
you would walk into another car dealership and you'd be very critical and you would
yeah,
critique the things that they
hmm
do.
yes,
Are the show floor cars clean? Or is, uniforms to, you look at that, right?
yeah. Is there crap on the floor? Does the place look
Yeah.
nice?
So my question to you is that what is your opinion that when you walk into any restaurant
Yep.
and you see said waitress or employee with the pop socket on the back of their phone and their phone sticking out of their back pocket? What is your opinion of that? Do you believe, I'm just curious,
Yep.
do you believe that they should have to put their phones in a special area not to
No.
be seen by the front?
No.
Why?
It would only bug me until it affects the service,
I agree.
right? Yeah. So like if I was waiting for like my fucking water and then I see her grab her phone and like doing shit like that, then yeah, I would be pissed off. And then yeah, then you have your warning. Now you don't get your shit. Now it's gonna get locked up. Or how many ever occurrences have to happen?
Yeah.
Like 3, right? Um, but no, I think that's just the society now. It's
Yeah.
just
It's
people have their phone,
accepted,
they're on the
right?
phone.
It's the
Yeah.
social acceptance
Norm.
of it,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It's kind of like jewelry, you know.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Rogue Jeweler, buy quality, save money, go Rogue.
God, you're so good at that
But
tag. I love it.
people wrote jewelry, and some people thought it was a distraction. Now I get it. If you got 4 piercings in your nose, lip, eyebrows, ears,
Yeah.
all the way around, different story. But jewelry on their hands and bracelets, they'd always
Tattoos on their face.
Yep, they would claim stuff.
I don't think
but,
tattoos on it's not bad. I think, like I said, that stuff's getting more acceptable because you can have like that type of person give the best service in the world. It's just the world's
like,
evolving and changing, slowly.
well,
But
it's a world of there's it's not so much I always say judge the book by the cover, but people are genuinely typically not bad people. It's just the tattoo thing. I had an old VP that
not anymore.
tatted from his wrist all the way, whole body. Like he wore long sleeves. He was one of those guys you couldn't tell. This is more common nowadays, and it's annoying. Phone should be out of sight. I know there's always the claim that, just to go back to the phone thing. Thanks for the interaction, Travis. I'm surprised you're on, given we haven't been on for a long time. But
what's this? Is this fake?
Yeah, is this live?
Yeah, am I here right now?
But no, I think the phone thing, some people always say, well, it deems that they're not the most important thing in the room or whatever, and I know Simon, whatever his name, has said that before when it comes to a meeting. I agree,
Yeah,
but yeah, the social aspect of it all is, yeah. So we have a store that they have a shoe rack hanging on a door, and they have like little lockers for their shoes. I think it's okay if it's genuinely a problem and you need to use it that way. But I guess I have yet to see that it's really that bad. But either way, back to what were we talking about before that?
Mm-hmm.
Tattoos, social acceptance,
Tattoos.
judging a book
Yep.
by its cover.
Yeah.
Like you said, affecting the service. That's one thing that is kind of rare nowadays, is that customer service is like everything. Like if you don't do that, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like even in cars, you know, I would say that you could charge whatever you want. As long as you have that to back it up, they'll be there. But once things start changing and
it's slowly shifting. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's going back to normal. Once the market gets back to normal,
Are you saying normal in terms of like the competitive side of where it's not just layups?
Correct.
Where like you're gonna separate
actual selling needs to be
the
done
men from the boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got them down there. They're gonna take $1,000 off. What are you gonna do? Go get it. You know, like that's the stuff where I don't feel that our sales guys will have. They're gonna have to lay on the managers more, or lean on the managers a little bit more, just to try to help. And
well, you have enough.
A lot of
you
those
personally, I mean, not to make this about Ryan McConnell, you know, the greatest car salesman ever. But some say
no. That's Andrew.
Yeah, well,
yeah, he has more plaques than me. He's a manager now. He earned it.
No, I know. But anyways, I think the one thing is too is like I said, you have that following. But when it comes to that, tell me this: how many times have you used it since I left? You know where I'm going with this. How many times have you said it? What are you hoping to accomplish today? How many times have you said it?
Usually I can read them.
That you don't have to use that?
Before I don't have to. Yeah. So then, but there are times though, like when we sit down and then I don't have a lot of more. I don't know if it's the honed ability. I'm not going to say skill, but just like the being able to cut through the I was going to say shit, cut through the bullshit. And like, what are you trying to accomplish? I can just get that through probing. Yeah. You know, that's like my third question. I ask like the same stuff every single time. Have you had a Subaru before? Oh, cool. Are you thinking like Outback or Forester? Da da da. Oh, cool. This. All right, awesome. Cloth leather, neat. If we do something we used to use back in the day, my line that I loved was, where are we at in the process? You know, like which is kind of yours. What are you trying to accomplish today? Are we just kind of like doing some research? Or are we going home with a car today? And then they kind of, that's like my initial trial close, right? So it's like, are you buying, right? And then if it's a yes or a no, and then if it's like, well, and then I would, depending on how they would waver, even how they would hesitate that conversation, I would go into, if I got them to do maybe like an extra special deal, is it something you consider doing today? Boom, you know? And then like, well, we'll get there. Let's pick out a car first and see if you love it. Because if you don't like the car, it's pointless moving forward.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wow. No, just fun story really quick. I had this lady on Saturday night. Yeah, yesterday. So I rolled up on the golf cart. I was trying to stock in this car, so I had to go grab a lockbox. Come back up to her. It was her and some guy. And I was like, hey, have you guys been helped yet? I think is what I said. And she went like, ugh, you know, and I was like, so no. And she's like, look, we're just looking today. We don't want to be bothered at all. Like, I'm honestly just looking. And then I've done which I've used this numerous times. Like, oh, you're just looking? That's perfect because I'm just showing today. It's totally fine. Yeah, I wasn't wanting to sell today anyway. That's fine. So I'm going to go put this lockbox in this car and then I'll probably touch base with you in like 5 minutes. Do you want me to open it up quick before I leave so you can like sit in it by yourself and like not be pressured? And then she's like, yeah, I guess. So I open it up, I leave, and I come back and I said, so what'd you think? You know, do you guys want to drive it? She's like, nah. And long story short, they bought a car. So it went from like the most turned off, I'm not going to buy a car. I'm just looking, please leave me the fuck alone. Get away from me.
Yeah.
To, she was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to get
it. So here's the only thing though, is that my synopsis plus knowing you and some of the other people out there, how many people would have literally just said, okay, just let me know. You know, I'll be around. And would have drove
all of them. I think at our dealership, yeah, I think.
I mean, I don't need specifics, but all I'm getting at is that you have that instinct, right? Mm-hmm. And that ability, likability, that people do that. Very rarely are you going to ever hear me say anything nice about you. This is the one time. That is something that that is something that you're actually pretty decent at. Is where people be like, oh yeah, no, he's harmless. Like this, you know, car salesman that walks up to me is not saying like, you know, you want to buy, do you want to buy? Is just, you know, the breaking the ice and, like you said, doing that, which is good. But yeah, no, it's crazy though when you think of the car world, right, and how much it's changed. But to go back in time, it was 3 years ago.
4.
No, 3 years ago now. It was the month of July. Kevin Fegan and I sold the 30 plus, and we went to the country club, and that was my biggest month ever there. I think I sold 38 that month.
Wow.
But that's the biggest month
38,
I've
really?
Yeah, it was like 20 some grand. Ridiculous. I didn't think it was real.
Yeah. Oh my.
Well, I think I
Yeah.
remember you two always just give me shit and they're like, "Yeah, life changing." But yeah, I don't know when's the last time you sold 38 or 30.
I sold 30 in, I think, February of this year. Like 32. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Otherwise I've been kind of hammering right around that 22 to 25, 26. That's my sweet spot.
Yeah. Well, you've got enough following. But anyways, gotta turn the
Be
what does that
backer
say?
into a buyer.
Oh. Yeah, it's that's the one thing that with cars is a little different too, is that there's so many places you can go, and now it's like I said, if it levels out, that'll be interesting.
I'm
Because
curious to see. We have a lot of people, because even with the sales guys that try to like manipulate the managers of like, you have to give me this price for this trade, this da da da. Like I worked a ton of deals with Andrew on Saturday, and like he was getting so frustrated because he was like, "You're good. Just tell me what to do. Tell me what I need." And I liked that because I felt like I had that trust versus all the other managers want to drive the deal, like
yeah,
load your lips, like go do this, say this, do that. And like, I don't need to be babysat, but like, I've just been so brainwashed over the last 5 years where that's just how you do it. It's just like, this is what it is, present it with this, do that. And yeah, I ended up selling like 3 cars Friday, 3 cars Saturday, and then I had 2 or 3 cars today. So like I started the month off because I took the week off in January for the funeral crab, took the week in August. So like my folder's been the thinnest it's ever been. So like usually, like how I gauge my month, I have like a sell a car per day. So like today I should have 13 cars, right? Because the 13th, and like on the 9th, I think I only had 3 cars or something like that, and I was like, oh no. And then it's just like with those last couple days, I fucking quadrupled my month, in just the last couple days, and it's just like, oh, okay, we're fine. Yeah, this will be easy.
wow, you ain't gotta worry too much out there. I'd be shocked if you had to worry a whole lot. But
You never know.
anyways, yeah, another episode down.
Holy shit, it's already
Maybe,
been 33
maybe we'll record another one. Maybe not.
tonight.
I don't know. No, no. But maybe we'll have one for another day. I know we always ask for guests at the end, but nobody watches our episode to the end because
Yeah, they always leave. We should do
analytics
that in the
show us
beginning.
that. Which I
Yeah.
don't blame. I'm stick around, but I think we've got some good ones coming. On the record, I'm taking another shot at the mayor.
Nice.
I shouldn't say shot. That's a bad way to say it. Please will
Easy
show up at my
Kennedy.
door. I'm gonna present it with an outline of what it could be. Because I think that was the one thing that maybe was the hang up. But either way,
Well, we said we had to go there and do it live,
during
right?
the
We
day.
had to be there in person. Yeah.
But either way. Anyways, before you ask, I'm out. Bye for okay. Yeah, no. That's fun. Different. I mean, obviously missing the trifecta.
The female artist of the group.
Oh. But we'll be back.
She'll be back. Yeah, she'll be back Wednesday.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, she'll be back Wednesday.
Oh yeah, what is today? Sunday?
Sunday.
It's Sunday. Very good.
Sunday, Wednesday. Sunday, Wednesday. Sunday,
Alrighty.
Wednesday.
Anyways,
9 o'clock.
till next time. Take us out.
All right, sounds good. Bye forever.